Hi, Cornerstone family. How's your joy holding up? The last time we were together, I encouraged all of us to find a way to spread some joy. We read together in James how we are to count it all joy when we encounter various trials and hardships because it's perfecting our faith. So has your joy increased? Well, maybe not if you're trying to take your joy from the world. Oh, sure, we can always find something temporary to bring us joy and happiness, even in these hard and difficult days. But the deep, abiding joy that God longs for us to have has nothing to do with what's around us, and it has everything to do with who we're resting in. I've been studying Psalm chapter 16, and David writes in the very last verse, "You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand." You see, joy, true joy, comes from being in the presence of God. And nothing in this world is ever going to compare to that. Now, being in the presence of my grandkids, that brings me an amazing amount of earthly joy. They always lighten my day, and they always make me smile. And if you've seen me with my kids, you know it's not just a little smile, it's the big cheesy grin every single time we meet together. But I haven't been able to see my grandkids for about 25 days now, but who's counting? Do I still have joy? You bet I do. If my joy was only contingent on earthly things, I would be a very unhappy, discontented person, especially right now. But I've been learning to take my cues about joy from Psalm chapter 16. So how did David get that fullness of joy? Well, he starts the psalm by saying this: "You are my Lord. Apart from you, I have no good thing." You see, David recognized that nothing in his life had any value. Nothing could bring him joy unless he recognized that all of those things came from God. He goes on to say that you alone make me secure, and you've given me a delightful inheritance. David had joy because in verse 8 he writes this: "I keep my eyes always on the Lord." He says, "With him at my right hand, I will not be shaken." And because David's focus is on God, he can continue to write in verse 9 that his heart is glad. His tongue rejoices and his body will rest secure. And all of this led David to write at the end of Psalm 16, "Again, you fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand." That kind of sounds like the delightful inheritance that he spoke about a little bit earlier. Eternal pleasures at your right hand. The kind that lasts. The kind that has nothing to do with what's going on around us, and everything to do with the fact that we belong to God. So if you're looking for real lasting joy in this world, you're not going to find it. Not even in my precious grandkids. But we can learn from David that true joy comes from being in God's presence, from recognizing that everything we have is from him, and keeping our eyes always on the Lord. Real joy can be ours. Will you claim it today?